Hey everyone, and welcome back to Miss Meredith Made. I have been receiving so many questions from you all asking about how I market my products that I create and sell on my TPT store. So I want to be very clear from the get-go that I do not just post and hope for the best to make sales. To me, that is literally just like crossing your fingers and hoping that people stumble upon your products. So I am big on I personally believe that if you really want to see the success that we all hope to see from being a TPT seller, you need to get your products out there and you need to make them visible. And in case you're wondering why you should take any advice from me, I make about $100 a day selling on TPT. And so you can do the math about what I roughly make per month selling as a TPT seller. If you are curious about my $100 days, make sure you check out my last video that I just posted. I will link it in my description of this video so that you can check it out. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to be talking about four major things. One is going to be the foundation of all of the products that I create, how I make products actually easy to market, and three, how I actually go about promoting them on all of the platforms that I use, and four, what actually does well for me and what has surprised me that hasn't done as well as I originally thought it would do. As far as foundation, before you even go ahead and create any product, take a couple of moments and think about how this product can be marketed once it's finished. So I always try to think about, is this really going to be valuable? How is this going to come off in photos or video? And can it serve multiple purposes? So what I mean by this, and I will be using one of my most recent product lines that I've been working on, and they are math talks for kindergarten and first grade. Originally, I thought that these would just be slides that teachers could project on either a smartboard or Promethean board, something like that, because that's how I did it in my own personal classroom when I taught kindergarten. So that's just how I originally thought about it. And then I thought about, well, what if I try to market this and one, I don't have a smartboard or Promethean board in my home right now. I'm no longer teaching in the classroom, and I just thought, that's going to be a little bit hard for me to market it, but I do think that that should be an option for the teachers that want to do it, because there are many out there that like to project like I did. So something that I thought about is, for the purposes of marketing, I want to be able to actually have cards as well. And this was also a nice addition for the teachers that maybe didn't have a smartboard or Promethean board. Maybe they're homeschool parents, or maybe they just don't simply have access to one in the school that they teach in. And this is where I'm talking about doing the foundational thinking greatly helps, because then you're able to market your products. For example, for this one, I'm able to say, hey, these can now be used for centers, for small groups, for intervention, for sub-plans if they don't know how to access or operate the smartboard or Promethean board capabilities. But hey, if you do, that is an option as well. So that's where I'm talking about, do some preemptive thinking about how you can actually market this and how it will be valuable to more than one type of teacher. Once you have that foundation in place about the actual market value that your product will provide for teachers, the next step is going to be, as you're actively creating the product, to make it as easy as possible to market. So make sure that your products are visibly, aesthetically pleasing, meaning that your clip art, your fonts are modern appearing, that they are not outdated, they are not sloppy, that the images aren't too small, because if you plan on marketing, you want to be able to either print it off and take photographs of it or video it, or even, sometimes I will just video my computer screen and kind of scroll through my product listing and talk over it. Either way, you want to make sure that you are proud of one, you're putting out there, but two, if you're going to try to market it on social media, then you want it to be scroll stopping, eye-catching, all of the above. I think I picked a really bad day to film because it's trash day and they're currently picking up our trash. So I really hope it doesn't sound as jarring as it does for me right now, but you might actually be able to see the truck. It's literally right outside picking up the trash. Oh my goodness. Okay, I think we might be okay now. But with that being said, make sure too that you have in mind, as you're creating products, that you're creating them ahead of time enough that you have time to not only get it up on TPT's platform, but also have enough time to film, edit, photograph, however you prefer to do it, in time if it is something trendy or something seasonal. And I will say not everybody likes to create trendy and seasonal products. There are actually some sellers that are really against it. But me personally, I have had a really high success rate with my products that are a little bit more on the trendy side and also seasonal, because the thing is that creates urgency. So when teachers are scrolling through TikTok, Instagram Reels, Pinterest, and they see something that they can only use for the month of February, maybe it's Valentine's Day activity, and they think, you know what, I better actually pull the trigger and buy this ASAP because I will only have a couple of weeks to be able to use this. And that's kind of how the urgency is created. Otherwise, if you are just posting things that really can be used anytime, they may save your image or save your video that you're posting and think, well, I'll just come back to this later. You want to create some kind of urgency as you are making a product. So I always do suggest, if you can, to try to make what you're making seasonal. It doesn't always have to be strictly for a holiday or things like that, but I will say that it helps a lot. All right, you've made it to step 3, which is to actually promote those products on social media. So I'm going to walk you through the platforms that I promote on and kind of the strategies that I have in mind as I do that. So bear with me because I do promote on pretty much every platform that I personally can think of. In fact, if there's a platform that you're aware of that I'm not mentioning, leave it in my comments because I'd like to look into it. But I do post on TikTok, and these are really just short value videos. So typically in these, I like to show the product visibly and also talk about the problems that the product can solve for teachers. It is tough, honestly, to fit all that you want to say about your product within about 30 seconds. I really try to keep them short because I just know how TikTok works and like Instagram Reels, and people just don't sit on those for a very long time. So the next thing would be Instagram and Facebook. These are both connected through Meta, I think is what it's called. So whatever I post on Miss Meredith Made's Instagram gets automatically posted on Facebook. And in fact, a lot of times what I post on TikTok is what I repurpose and just go ahead and post as an Instagram reel, and then it gets posted as a Facebook video. But the only thing that I will really create originally for Instagram and Facebook are stories. And also if I take a screenshot of a buyer review and then I kind of talk about that as social proof for Instagram and Facebook. But other than that, Instagram and Facebook is typically 95% or more of repurposed content that I've already made for TikTok. Then I do Pinterest, and I will say that Pinterest is the easiest one that you can do. So if you are interested in getting started on your marketing journey for your TPT products, start with Pinterest, because all you have to do is create your thumbnails, which you already have to create for TPT, or at least you should be. And once you have your thumbnails created, all you do is post the thumbnail on Pinterest. And literally, I just copy and paste the first part of my product description that I've already written for TPT for the description for Pinterest. And then you can literally just link the product from TPT to your link for Pinterest, because they like to have links to the image that it correlates with. It literally takes less than 30 seconds, especially if you use Canva. There is an application in Canva where you can just connect your Pinterest account and literally take the image that you've created for your thumbnail and just automatically chug it out to Pinterest. Like I said, it is super quick, it is super easy. And I always recommend to people, hey, if you want to get started on marketing and you have very limited amount of time, start with Pinterest. The next thing that I do is blogging. I have a website, missmeredithmade.com, and I do blog. I will say that this is my least favorite marketing tool to do. I just do not like taking the time to actually physically write a blog. I know that now with the power of AI and things like ChatGPT, there are a lot of sellers that just create blogs from ChatGPT, but I will advise that they just don't do very well. I have heard that the algorithms and search engines and things, they pick up on when things are AI written. So I do take the time to actually sit down and write my blogs. On occasion, I do have AI help me with my grammar and things like that because I am not a professional writer. But I just wanted to throw that out there that blogging is the most time intensive. It is my least favorite thing to do, but I do try to throw out a blog about once a month. Keyword there is try, because oftentimes that does not really happen, but I do really try to do once a month, and that has been a New Year's goal for me. And so far, I say this in February, so I've only had January to write, but so far I'm on track. So that's great. I actually plan to write the blog for February, hopefully today. So I hope to stay on track with that once a month goal. Within the blog though, I do add in a lot of times like my thumbnails that I've already created, and I'll just link directly to the product. I try to write very personally to people that are reading. The thing about blogs is they do better months ahead of time. So you need to be writing a blog. Like for example, if I do write a blog today and we're in kind of like early to mid-February, I want to be writing a blog for like my April products. I'm not going to be writing a blog today for Valentine's Day when Valentine's Day is just in a couple of days. It's just not going to perform well. And I will actually say that blogs that I have written a year ago are doing better than they ever have because they have sat there longer. So blogs are a form of long form content is what they call it. And so the longer it sits there, the better it does over a longer period of time. That leads me to my second least favorite form of marketing that I do, and that is my email list. Yay! Email list. Oh my goodness. Every single TPT seller will tell you how much they love their email list and how great it's been for them. And I'll get into that in my next section about what has done very well for me and what has not. But let's just say I do not really care for the email list, but girl, I'm trying to chug along. I'm doing the best I can. Or if you're a guy, I'm trying to chug along with it. But in the email list, I advertise my freebies. Those are really enticing for email list subscribers to get. And because they subscribe oftentimes from me advertising a freebie that they can only get for subscribing to my email list, I do incorporate new freebies and often only advertise those to my email list subscribers. Then I will also do reminders, like if I have sales coming up or follower sales that only they can access, then I will do that. So the email list is enticing for people to have a little bit more of a special type of treatment. I also do like new releases, and if I have discounts on the new releases, I will talk about that with them. I do oftentimes pick from my blog to use in my email list, and then I will just personalize it more for that group of people. But I do try to repurpose, and I will talk about that in just a little bit. That leads me to my note to followers. So my note to followers, I highly pick from what I write in my email list to my notes to followers because they're another very special group of people to me. They take the time to actually follow along with my storefront. So they also get some more special treatment. They get alerts on sales first. They get alerts on new releases. They get alerts on reminders for discounts and promotions that I have coming up, those kind of things. And the last and the most important form of marketing that I do is working on my SEO for TPT itself. So search engine optimization. If you have not looked into that, you need to start ASAP. That is the most important thing that you can be doing because I will talk about this in just a couple minutes, but it is how I make my most sales is just directly from TPT itself. So you want to find SEO that results in high popularity, that teachers are actually actively searching for these products, but you don't have a lot of competition because this will help you rank higher and in the first couple of pages when teachers search for items on TPT. So I really try to always be in the first couple of pages when I post products. That way I'm visible and teachers can actually find my things. Because if you are sitting on page 8 or more, then the likelihood of teachers actually clicking through all those pages to stumble upon your products, it's very low. I was a teacher myself. I still tutor. I still do purchase things off of TPT. I can't sit here and say that I have ever done that. I know that sounds crappy because I'm a seller myself, and honestly, I think that people probably don't do a lot for SEO and they have great products on page 10 plus, but I just don't take the time to scroll through or click through that many pages. You just are trying to find something quick and as you need it. So try to make sure that your products are appearing on the first couple of pages. It makes your items just so much more likely to actually sell because people are seeing them. You don't have a lot of time to market. If you are anything like me, I am a one-woman show, so I am doing this all by myself. I do not have a virtual assistant or any help whatsoever. Miss Meredith Made is 100% ran by me, Meredith. So that means that I need to repurpose content for marketing. And I think that it's very easy to hear TPT sellers say, well, I market on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest. I do an email list. I do my notes to followers. And you're just like, how are you doing all of that? Here's the thing that a lot aren't telling you. Repurpose your content. You do not have to be reinventing the wheel for every single platform. So I'm going to give you how I repurpose my content because I think it'll be very eye-opening to you as to how this is not as difficult or as overwhelming as it sounds at first. So if you are doing TikTok, you can very easily do YouTube Shorts. You can very easily do Instagram Reels and Facebook videos. You create one short video and it serves you for at least 4 platforms. You can even post it on Pinterest because Pinterest allows short videos like that. And then you have one piece of content that just served you for 5 different platforms. It's incredible. So I always say, if you are interested in starting to get into video filming of your products, and mind you, I just use my iPhone. I'm not using anything fancy to video my products or any fancy editing tools. I use a tool called InShot. It is free. You literally can edit directly on your phone. It is super easy. And that's that. And then once I create the 30-second to a minute long TikTok, I just repurpose it and post it on as many platforms as I possibly can. I know I talked about this a little bit, but my email list, my blog, and my notes to followers are highly connected. I pull from, once I create my blog, which is usually the first thing that I'll do, I'll pull from my blog to then write a more personalized email list, and then I will pull from both of those to do my notes to followers. Once I have the blog written, the other 2 are very quick to do, okay? I will say that the notes to followers, probably takes less than a minute to pull from my blog and email that I write to my email subscribers. My email subscriber does take a little bit longer, but you're looking at about maybe 20 minutes. It's still not like you're sitting there for hours. So I just want to give you food for thought there. And Pinterest and TPT are very highly connected in this sense. What I pull for Pinterest comes directly from the work that I've already done on TPT. So if you are doing a lot of SEO research for TPT, the title and the description that you are using for that directly helps you with Pinterest. Like I said, Pinterest is the easiest one you can do. So if you want to get started, start with Pinterest. So out of promoting on all those platforms, you're probably wondering what has actually worked for you, what isn't working as well. Do you even recommend doing all of these promotions on all these platforms? And I will tell you straight up, as I usually do, So I have a list here that I will reference that I pulled directly from my TPT dashboard. You can click on the traffic section and it'll tell you how many views you've gotten from that platform and how many sales you've gotten from the views that people actually went through from that platform. So it'll break it down from like TPT direct, directly from the marketplace, Pinterest, and so on, whatever you are actively using. I get the most sales from TPT marketplace itself, just directly from people searching on TPT, hands down. So that's why I say, in my opinion, working on your SEO is the most important. And second highest conversions that I get for promoting on a platform is Pinterest. So I do believe that's why I say that TPT and Pinterest marketing to me are aligned, because my SEO research that I do for TPT is what I use to post on Pinterest, and I believe that helps a lot. But Pinterest is my second highest method of selling. And it kind of cracks me up that Pinterest is my second highest way that I sell, because it is the easiest marketing form that I do. The next best platform that I promote on is TikTok. So even if a video doesn't go viral, just the visibility of it helps a lot. I will get comments where people ask me for the link, things like that. And especially if it's seasonal, typically those videos do very well. Underneath TikTok would be missmeredithmade.com. So this would generate from my blog posts that I do. So I am quite happy about that, because blogging does take quite a bit of effort, but it is one of my higher forms of actually getting views and sales. Underneath my blog would be Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. These just don't do as well. I'm not really sure why, but to be completely honest, I mean, it does get me views. It helps with the visibility. Typically, like I said, this is all repurposed content anyway, so it's really no sweat off my back. It takes me like less than 30 seconds to post on those, so I just continue with it because it's certainly not hurting. The one that does the worst is my email list, and this one has been driving me kind of nuts, because according to what I'm following from other people, I'm doing all of the things. I don't really know what's going on there, to be completely honest, but it is kind of frustrating, because a lot of sellers will say, you know, the email list is the key, and that's how, you know, I've really popped off on my TPT seller journey, and that just hasn't been the case for me. I just don't really know. So if anybody has advice on that, on why you think it's working well for you, let me know in the comments, but it just has not been a successful thing for me. Because people rave about it and feel so strongly about it, I am keeping up with it. But I do have to say that if I do it strongly throughout this whole entire year and I'm just not seeing much from it, I really may taper that off a little bit, because the thing is, it takes time. Like I said, it's not like I'm sitting there for hours, but it does take, you know, between like 20 minutes to half an hour, I would say. And when you are doing all this on your own, like I could be using that half hour for something else. Like I just feel like even that half hour of time, if I can be using it for something that's actually converting, why would I not do that? So just a couple of things to get your mindset in the right place. Please don't forget that selling on TPT, it is a long game, and a lot of these marketing promotional ideas do not really take off right away. So you need to be consistent with it, and consistency is the key. Honestly, you are so much better off posting regularly and having a schedule for your content creation, your posting days, posting times. Honestly, consistency is so much more important than just trying to go viral. Most of us will not go viral. I have had videos on TikTok that do quite well. I will get thousands of views, if not tens of thousands of views. But honestly, even that is not the norm. A lot of my product videos, I will get somewhere around like 400-ish views. And even that amount, even though it is certainly not astronomical, you will get comments and people direct messaging you, hey, where can I find that product? and it is a great way to just be visible, not necessarily viral. It will help you with sales. And probably the most important thing is to have that mindset that you are treating TPT like a business, because it really should be one. And so with that mindset in place, then you are going to feel more motivated that just like any business, think of literally any business out there, they are not just creating things and sitting on their thumb and hoping for the best. They are making commercials, they are doing social media marketing, they are doing something promotional. So just because it is TPT and a lot of people kind of downplay it and just act like it is completely passive, that is not the norm for most people, and you need to be actively promoting your products. It is a business. So with that being said, if you want to take it seriously, I do have actually 3 free products on my TPT Miss Meredith Made. I have a whole section that is just for TPT sellers. I don't have a whole lot on there, but like I said, I have 3 free products that really can directly help you with things like this. And I also have 2 paid for products that are under $5. They're just a couple of bucks. So if you want to check those out, please do, because you should be taking it seriously. And if this video kind of felt like a motivator to be like, hey, you know, Meredith is doing this and she's telling me that a lot of it can be repurposed and maybe this doesn't feel as overwhelming as it once did to me, check out some of these products. I have content creation calendars. I have ideas that you can be making for your products from month to month. I have exactly what I do and how I do them weekly and monthly as far as content creation. So if you feel motivated by this, I would certainly check those out. I think I've covered all of the main things that I could think of for this video, but if there is something that you're really hoping to know and I didn't answer, because I know some of you have been asking questions about this, please leave them in my comments and I will get back to you. Happy selling and take care.